Sri Lanka is a small tropical island surrounded by the Indian Ocean, located just north of the equator. It may be small in area, but compared to many other countries in the Asian region, it is a land rich in natural beauty and wonder. If you decide to travel from Sri Lanka's coast to its central highlands, you will encounter diverse landscapes and climatic zones. Lowland rainforests, intermediate zone forests and dry zone forests hold a special place among the many ecosystems found here. The various ecosystems and climatic zones host animals and plants found nowhere else. As a result, Sri Lanka is significant for its rich biodiversity, both regionally and globally. Among these ecosystems, wetlands play a pivotal role in protecting the equilibrium of life. Both natural and man-made wetlands are considered the cradles of civilization. Today, these wetlands provide habitats for many species of flora and fauna. Under the Ramsar Convention, some wetlands in Sri Lanka have been identified as important areas for waterbirds. The Beddagana Wetland Park is a richly diverse wetland ecosystem located in the wet zone. It is nestled next to the parliamentary complex in Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte and is bordered by the Diyavanna Oya. It was developed as a park by the Urban Development Authority with the aim of conserving biodiversity associated with urban wetlands. It may be limited to just 18 hectares of land, but its attractiveness lies in the abundant biodiversity seen in the park. Such wetlands act as sponges during floods, protecting against natural disasters, and also provide services such as recharging and purifying the groundwater table. Be it a researcher or someone who is simply interested in the environment, you can be sure to find a treasure trove of biological insights at this Beddagana ecosystem. The park is a safe haven for many animals and plants that have lost their habitats due to urbanization. Visitors come from far and wide to observe the abundant waterbirds at the Beddagana wetlands, using the unique structures constructed for this purpose. Flocks of lesser whistling ducks, common to both the wet and dry zones, are a frequent sight at the Beddagana wetlands. They are most active during the morning, evening, and at night time. Noon is a time of rest and relaxation for these ducks, who begin looking for food once the sun starts to set. Their webbed feet help them walk on the mudflats and swim well in the water. Their high-pitched call may reach your ears while they are in flight. The purple swamp hen can be seen among the rushes and reeds during the daytime. Its glossy purple and blue feathering and red shield make it easy to identify. The purple swamp hen's beak is adapted well to its vegetarian diet, and it uses grasses and reeds to create its nest among the rushes on the ground. Another common waterbird seen at the Beddagana Wetland Park is the moorhen. It has a black body with white flanks and a red shield. It's customary for moorhens to live together as couples. They make their nest on the grassy marsh beds using reeds and sticks. Another resident here is the white-breasted waterhen, who is a common sight near wetlands such as swamps and paddy fields. Their long toes make it simple for them to walk on the leaves which float on the water. The greater egret, intermediate egret and little egret can all be seen at the Beddagana wetland. The little egret can be separately identified from its relatives by its black color tarsus with yellow toes, its black beak, as well as its small body size. The intermediate egret can be identified by its yellow beak and medium-sized body. If you look closely, you will also see that its gape line does not extend beyond the eye. The winner of the size contest is the great egret. To identify it correctly, you can look for the gape line which extends behind the eye and for the greater curvature of the neck. They can extend their slender necks at lightning speeds, capturing innocent prey in their strong beaks. The handsome fellow you see here is the common kingfisher. They make a tunnel on the banks of rivers and streams and lay their eggs in a small chamber at the end of it. In addition to this, the pied kingfisher, the white-breasted kingfisher and the stork-billed kingfisher can all be seen at the Beddagana wetland. Black-winged stilts are another species found here. They earn their name because they have long, slender legs which are adapted to easily walk in water. They look for food in pairs or in flocks, usually in wetlands such as swamps. A common resident in lagoon and mangrove ecosystems, the striated heron can also be seen at the Beddagana wetland. Additionally, the yellow bittern is a regular visitor to this wetland as well. They stay perfectly still, looking for the perfect opportunity to grab their prey at great speed. Pond herons can be easily identified at the Beddagana wetland. Their bodies may look brown, but the brilliant white of their plumage can be seen as soon as they take flight. Flocks of rose-ringed parakeets are a common sight, but you'll even be able to see other forest birds like barbets, woodpeckers, bulbuls and orioles, among many others, at this beautiful wetland ecosystem.
Beddagana Wetland Park is the first wetland park developed in Sri Lanka. The inland wetland where Beddagana Park was developed is owned by the Urban Development Authority. We all know that due to urban expansion, all the open spaces such as the sensitive areas like wetlands, oils, the forest and green cover are at a threat. We, the professionals at the Urban Development Authority, always want to create cities in a livable and a sustainable way. Therefore, the cities can withstand all the climate change and the environmental problems we will be having in future. In year 2006, the Urban Development Authority prepared a master plan in view of conserving the UDA owned, the Urban Development Authority owned 10 wetland sites. So that paved way as the background of developing this Beddagana Wetland Park. I should emphasize that we always wanted to preserve the wetland. Therefore, this master plan was very carefully prepared. All the structures, boardwalks, bridges and all resting places and open decks, everything was built on stilts. We made sure not to fill the site, and all the structures were on stilts so that the wetland could thrive underneath these structures. So, careful foundations were designed, especially for Beddagana. We didn't make any machinery involved. All the construction was done manually, and the materials were selected in such a way that to go with nature, even the colors and the roofs and all the locations of the structures were designed very carefully without disturbing the biodiversity. We have created the bird watching heights at strategic locations, and also there is a bird watching tower where you could have a bird's eye view on the total design of the park. All in all, one could say that Beddagana Wetland Park is a live demonstration project, showcases the importance of a wetland and the methodology of integration of wetlands into improving overall livability and sustainability of a city. It is an excellent example of integration of wise use in and improving or rather conserving a wetland habitat for many users. Anybody can come in all ages and visit this park and make knowledgeable of the wetland habitat and its ecosystem services, and also the wealth of biodiversity, while relaxing and making an eco-based recreation destination.
Of all the creatures in the natural world, butterflies hold a special place due to their beauty and diversity. As pollinators, they perform an environmentally significant service. Their vibrant wings add a flash of beautiful color to the environment. They are very selective when it comes to plants on which to lay eggs, preferring certain species over others. There are a lot of larval food plant species and nectar-bearing plant species, leading to many varieties of butterflies calling the Beddagana wetland their home. Observing and studying butterflies has now become immensely popular among those who love the natural environment. And when you look at these beautiful creatures, it's easy to see why. The Beddagana wetland is home to many endemic, native and exotic species of plants. Many flowering plants, in their vivid shades and colors, adds beauty to the surroundings. The plants which are spread throughout the wetland have root systems which are especially adapted to tolerate any changes in water levels and the chemical composition of water. Plants act as the primary producers of the earth, supplying food for all living beings. The food requirements of the birds and other animals living in the Beddagana wetland are fulfilled by the many fruit-bearing plants in the wetland. Since photosynthesis is taking place in the plants, the balance of the atmosphere is maintained through absorption of carbon dioxide and emission of oxygen. Through the transpiration process, water vapor is maintained in the atmosphere as well, and it cools the environment. If you visit the Beddagana wetland, you'll be able to see the leguminous Aganop plant, which can only be seen in very few locations in Sri Lanka. However, due to invasive plant species such as pond apple, shrubbery Dilenia, and common lantana. This unique wetland ecosystem is under threat. At the Beddagana Wetland Park, you will also be able to observe many dragonflies and damselflies. When dragonflies rest, they keep their wings spread out. Damselflies tuck their wings in when resting. The early stages of their life cycle are spent in water. Some females lay eggs in the water, and some lay them inside holes created in water plants. The larvae that burst out of these eggs eat small organisms in the water and live inside the water. Therefore, the high availability of dragonflies in a particular ecosystem is considered an indicator of good water quality in that ecosystem. Dragonflies zoom around in the air, preying on small insects they catch mid-flight. They are an important group of insects for humans as they feed on mosquitoes and flies that threaten human health.
In 1977, Sri Lanka decided to have the new parliament complex and have the Sri Javadhanapura court area declared as the new capital city. The construction of the parliament in the middle of an existing wetland at that time was seen as a major challenge. The area around the parliament was accordingly considered to be needed protection, and the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance was used, and the area was categorized as a sanctuary. Now these wetlands, having been declared as a sanctuary, didn't have any special plan of management. But then the Urban Development Authority came up with this idea in 1984 to try and recognize an area for recreational purposes for the urban people in Colombo. The Beddagana Wetland area is one of these plots that were recognized. Of course, in the very beginning, there were thoughts of filling that area also and using it for a high-rise settlement, but we managed to have that changed, and the UDA decided that one area, while being given out for the Football Federation, the other area would be used as a recreational ground with a planned wetland conservation or wetland park. It's a nice place because it has all the general fauna of a wetland, inclusive of certain migrants that come into the marsh areas, because this is the unique area that prevailed in and around the Court Parliament, not available in any other place within the Colombo municipality area also. Once the development started and the boardwalks and the observation towers and other pathways, nature trails were established, students and the public could now have clear, better access, and observations could be done without fear. Using the location would automatically then enrich the educational purposes, because in many school syllabi there is a component on wetland and there is some things of nature studies. So bringing the children here and with this access to the fauna very close, it was making it a difference.
The purple-faced langur is an endemic mammal of Sri Lanka, which is threatened with extinction. There are 4 subspecies of the purple-faced langur in Sri Lanka, and around the Beddagana wetland you can see the western subspecies. The troop is headed by an alpha male and consists of many female langurs and their babies. Their diet consists mainly of the buds and leaves and raw fruit of various plants, and sometimes they even eat the flowers. Due to urbanization, these langurs have lost their habitat, and as a result, the human-monkey conflict has been created. In order to reduce these types of conflicts, it's important to carry out proper land use management. Various species of reptile can also be seen in the Beddagana wetland. A representative of the upper levels of the food chain, the water monitor, is a common sight here. They are carnivores as well as scavengers who eat animal remains, maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. In addition, the fishing cat and the Eurasian otter are two carnivorous mammals who are under threat and are happy to call the Beddagana wetland their home. Keeping silent is essential when you visit the Beddagana wetland. It's also important to walk only along the marked paths, ensuring the animals are not disturbed. Make sure you don't leave behind plastic or polythene you bring into the wetland. You must not try to catch any of the animals living in the wetland, and you must not harm or remove any of the plant species or their parts, such as flowers. Not only do wetlands such as these provide us with educational opportunities, leisure activities, and mental relaxation, they are also important to protect the rights of animals and plants to survive and thrive in their natural ecosystems. It is our duty to protect these resources in a sustainable manner so we can gift a greener, brighter tomorrow to our future generations.